Okay, so let's get this party started.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Jeremy from Octane TV.
I'm Sam from The Outlaws and Tag Team Racing.
He's bilingual.
I'm
we'll
bilingual.
say that every time. So today, in this episode, or this might be a multi-part episode, we're going to talk a little bit about 2024, what we liked about it, what events that we went to, what events that we had, what events we plan on going to in 2025 that have already been announced. Kind of like a little blast from the past and a little bit of a look into the future. So I'll let Sam kind of start this one and talk about what events that he had this year that he really enjoyed and what events he went to that he really enjoyed.
Yeah, so some of the events that we hosted this year, obviously Pizza Junkies is a massive hit with us as the Outlaws. It's definitely our favorite spot to host. We definitely have really good turnouts and everyone enjoys the food. Great relationship with Pizza Junkies, so shout out to them for letting us host there as well. We hosted, I think some of my favorite events that we hosted there included the 4th of July Bash was a really good one.
Yeah.
That was 4th of July weekend. We came, had a car show, had some awards, and then did some fireworks after, so overall that was a great one. Obviously Midwest Invitational is a big one. That wasn't just Pizza Junkies. We hosted a large car show there. Had Bling and his crew come from Ohio, which was pretty cool. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then obviously we had the track day for Midwest Invitational, which was a lot of fun, even though it got rained out a little bit. And then
0% chance of rain.
0% chance. We did get some runs in though. That weekend was great. Some other ones that we've hosted, the Taco Tuesdays were awesome.
Those were awesome.
Shout out to Puerto Vallarta for letting us host there. Those guys are great. They enjoy us bringing the cars out and everything in the group. So, and they give us discounts on the food, and their food is tremendous. So.
Jordan's Fish and Chicken was a really
Jordan's
good event.
Fish and Chicken. We actually have the owner of 3 sites in our group. He's a great guy. So, and another thing, giving us % discount on the food when we're hosting there is great. Great partnership, and we had fun there as well. We did host an Indiana Dunes cruise, which was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
We got a ton of good rollers.
I still have to post a video from that.
Yeah, we still have to release the rollers from that too.
We got videos and rollers from that. Yeah.
That was a great time.
The weather was awesome that day.
Yeah.
Awesome day.
Obviously SCT is a big one for Indy, and we went to the Kansas City one. Both of those were awesome. Kansas City was definitely eye-opening for me. I'd never been there before, never seen SCT there before, and it was awesome. There's some definitely different categories of cars. I mean, the Indy ones are huge. There's definitely a lot of built cars, but the Kansas City one, I mean,
they take it to a whole
nother
level.
is definitely next level. So shout out to Justin there.
Yeah,
you guys do a great job.
And that track was brand new. It was. Like I mean, nothing bad.
We didn't even get
to
see any cars run, and just by coming in the gate and just seeing how it's all laid out and how new it is, I mean, it was impressive.
They had a car show,
which
was bigger than pretty much any car show we had here in Indiana. Which I will tell you from. I'll throw up some clippets in either this video or another video. When we went to Kansas City last year, not 2024, 2023, we went to their what they call pre-kickoff party. I've never seen that many cars. There's probably 1,000, 1,500 cars.
Crazy.
And they were all high caliber, and they had top 20. It was hard. I know how to be hard for them to choose top 20 out of the caliber of cars that were there. So we will definitely go to Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great time. Trying to think of some other events. So we went to, obviously, we talked about Bling's coming to our event, but we did go to his event.
Yes.
Which was a beach car show, which I think was an interesting concept. I haven't really seen it before. And yes, there are beaches in Ohio.
Yeah.
That kind of shocked me a little bit.
A large beach.
But we went out there. I mean, he had at least a couple hundred cars there. I mean, the trophies that he had, I mean, this full built trophies. He had a trailer full of them, a bunch of vendors. I mean, it was a
great
killer event.
Yep. It just sucked for us that we had to leave. We could only stay there because it was during our event at SET. So we took off time on Saturday. We drove 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back, and we could only unfortunately spend an hour there. So that's the only thing that kind of sucked.
And we've talked about it a couple times. The SET Indy was fun.
Yes, amazing.
We did have one night that was definitely a train wreck, but overall, it was a good time.
It was a good time. Yeah. And honestly, like, shout out to True for letting us use their lot, and thank you to RPM for letting us use their lot for the Thursday night kickoff of the Midwest Invitational, and also to for Redline for allowing us to do a dyno day with them as well.
It was a lot of fun.
And we had the first dyno day that you did was absolutely awesome. That was the weather was great. Everything was great about that.
Yeah, I mean, we probably put like, I don't know that Dennis can quote me on this, but I feel like it was close to like 20.
Oh, minimum. Or more. Yeah, I would say at least 20 cars. Yeah. He did not want to do that many later in the year because there was just so many cars that were going on the dyno. But that was an awesome time.
It was.
It was a great day. There was so many awesome days about 2024. It's hard to pinpoint what was the greatest one.
I can't even tell you.
And we got a late start too because the weather wasn't that great in April and March. Yeah. So we really didn't get a great start to this year till actually technically May. Yeah. And we missed a lot of the SETs, which sucks. I went to SET a lot in 2023, but I missed a lot of them in 2024. I only got to go to Indy and Kansas City with him. Yeah. So that makes it kind of tough. I didn't get to go to all those. I did go to TX2K. It was a little weird being in Dallas this year compared to Houston, and it did rain about 80% of the time.
That's tough.
But it was a good time. I do want to go to TX2K again this year, but it will all be weather related. If it looks like it's going to rain 80% of the time, it's an expensive trip to take. I don't want to spend that kind of money. Yeah. FL2K, I'm not quite sure if I'll ever go back again. I mean, I hate to say that, but every year I go there, it's the same song and dance. I show up, we go to a parking lot, we go to a meet, we get kicked out within 5 minutes, and it's just a repetitive process of chasing each other all the way from Bradenton, all the way from St. Pete, all the way to Tampa, and getting kicked out of gas stations. And I mean, I couldn't even go pump gas in our car and buy potato chips on the inside, and I was already getting yelled at by the police to get out of the parking lot.
That's crazy.
I mean, I was just there pumping gas, just trying to get gas, and they were screaming at me about getting out of the parking lot. So Florida does not like us being there. I understand that, but I can't spend that kind of money to drive down there to go to that again. Now, I did go to Beamer Invasion, another incident that happened with rain, FL2K, TX2K, and I can say now Beamer Invasion, it rained the whole event. So that kind of sucked, but other than that, I made the best of it for what we could. They had an awesome pre-meet, an awesome event itself on the indoor portion, but the outdoor portion got rained out. That's the only thing that kind of sucked. Yeah. And one of the greatest events that we went to this year.
It was Slammed Enough in Gatlinburg. Our group went last year, and it was
2023, right?
Yeah, 2023. Okay. It was definitely mind-blowing for us. We haven't really dipped into that culture a lot here in Indy. I think it's pretty cool. Definitely not my forte. I'm more into the racing side of things,
Performance,
exactly. But getting a cabin, spending time down there with the group, there's thousands of cars that come out and just cruise the strip. A bunch of cool people you just meet. I mean, overall, and the event at the convention center is pretty cool. They have a bunch of good vendors that come in there, and I feel like they did a much better job judging winners this year. I think a lot of people will agree with that, but overall, it was a great event.
I got to go. I took my daughter down there for like a mini vacation, but I did not get to go to the actual show. Once I saw the prices of the parking and to get in, and I already spent a fortune to get down there with my daughter, I didn't want to drag her through that show. But Sam said it was amazing.
It was worth it, yeah.
I can say this. I've never been to the actual Gatlinburg one or, Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg one. I've went to the one in Chicago, and it was awesome, but they do not have anything in Chicago or any other Slam Enough I've been to that has like what they have in Tennessee. I've never seen a nightlife like that, and I didn't even get to see the biggest portions of it. I was right next to my hotel the whole time, and the parking lots were completely full, but there was other parking lots that I've seen that were 10 times more full than that. So I just stayed close to the island. That's where my hotel was, so we kind of partied around there, and I walked around with my daughter and kind of filmed, but it was a great experience. But I will tell you, I'm not going to ever be a negative Nancy on this channel. I can tell you that. I don't like talking trash about people. But I will probably tell you the most least desirable event that I had the chance to go to this year, which was right around the time of Slam Enough. Let's see if you can pinpoint what event we went to that was probably the least most desirable, that cost the most amount of money.
Oh, yeah. The light bulb went off. It's definitely the Clean Culture event. Yeah, so we went to Clean Culture has been having this event at the Marion Fairgrounds. I went last year as well in 2023. And we went this year again, thinking it might be
showing respect.
I mean, last year was cool because they did do the drifting, and that was awesome. Like, you got to see everyone drift. I mean, there's Corvettes drifting, whatever. This year, they focused more on the car show side, which I understand because Slammed Enough, I'll put it in quotation marks, was involved with the event. I mean, it was so priced. It was priced so high.
We paid, what was it to get in?
It was like $10 to park, I believe.
No, it was more than that.
Was it more than that? 15?
I thought it was 15.
It was $15 to park your car, so I paid 15, and then it was like 40 or something.
Yeah.
40 or 45 to actually get in the gate. And then you walk in, and there's probably like, I don't know, there's probably like 50, 60 cars outside that are parked. And I'm not like hating on the cars at all. There's definitely some really good quality cars in there.
Yeah.
Especially in the indoor part. I think it was just the way that they hosted the event.
Yeah.
There wasn't any food. There was one vendor for food, and then they ran out of food.
Yeah.
There wasn't any water or drinks.
Yeah, there was no drinks.
So I felt really bad for the people who are in the show. Their cars are in there. They can't drive out and go get some food and drive back in. And then the air compressor goes off.
Hold on. God damn it.
It didn't like that. So yeah, it's just said, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to go too. Hold on. I'm going to get back up here. I'll just cut this section out. Sorry.
Damn air compressor.
It's so fucking annoying between that and the air conditioner. Shit just annoys the fuck out of me.
I just have to turn it off every time we do this.
I know, man. Okay, and talk about the food again.
Yeah, so there wasn't any options for, like I said, there wasn't any options for drinks, food at one point.
No air conditioning in any of the
No air
lanes.
conditioning.
And it was hot.
But I will say the quality of the cars was good.
Yeah.
I will say that. They did a good job. There's a lot of cool cars there. But
I think comparing, which is really sad to say this, but we went to Slam Enough very shortly after the Clean Culture event. What really did it in for me, for a person who's done events in the past and went to a lot of events like Hot Import Nights, Nopi, things like that in the past 25 years, is between Sam and I, we went there to cover for media and show support for people that we knew.
100%.
We paid $100 between the two of us to walk into this event. $100. And when I was greeted at the front, the gentleman asked me who I was, what channel I was with, and all this. And he said, thank you. And he's like, post up some of your pictures and videos, and I'll share them on our page. And I'm like, oh, okay. I paid $100 between both of us. Okay. We paid that to walk in. We weren't even there an hour. To film someone else's events, which I have no problem showing support for anybody.
100%.
But when we walk in, the caliber of cars were what we usually see here in Indianapolis, which isn't bad, but it's not like it's Slam Enough, Tennessee good. Not by any means. I would say that they had enough to fill up, in my opinion, one indoor part of the venue and about 10% of the actual Marion County Fairgrounds. So there's no need to even rent that place because they only took up 10% of the grounds. They had no food, they had no drinks, they had no vendors, they had no food, any type of food vendors. Everyone was saying the same thing collectively about this event. And it's like every year I've watched this event go down. I went to this event 4 or 5 years ago when I was at the state fairgrounds indoors. The whole event was indoors. And then they put some of the smaller cars that waited till the last minute to get in on the outside part. And the indoor portion was amazing. They had a lot of vendors. They had a lot of companies. They had a lot of food and drinks. I had nothing bad to say about it back then, and it was cheap back then. I think it was like maybe $20, $25 to get in. But charging somebody $40 as a spectator to get into an event of that caliber, that made me rethink this event ever again. Because Slammed Enough was almost the same price to get into in Gatlinburg.
Yeah, it was $40.
Yeah, and it's like a totally different, completely different event. If I had to rate Clean Culture, I'd rate it like from this exact one that we went to, I'd say it's a 3 out of 10, maybe a 4. I'll give it a 4 tops, mainly because of all the things that were wrong with it.
Yeah.
But you take a place that's the same price, and I would give Slammed Enough like a 8 or 9 out of 10. So it's just kind of hard when, to me, that was a $15 to $20 entry into a car show.
Yeah.
And they definitely need to fix the food and water thing. As a person that, like, I invite 5 or 6 food trucks to our smaller events that were that size, I would definitely have at least 4 or 5 food vendors on backup, just in case. I mean, because, man, you can't do it with one, and they don't have any drinks, and they ran out of food. So that event definitely was not the greatest. I have a bad feeling they probably either A, won't be back, or they won't do that event ever again, because they had a lot of negative press over that one. So we wasted some money, we wasted some time. It's a learning experience, no biggie. We all learn from it. But we went to a lot of events this year that were smaller, that I felt that were really good, that turned out good. And Sam had multiple events that were only $10 to enter the car show. That wasn't spectator. This is just strictly to enter the car show. $10?
I mean, so we didn't charge anything at the beginning.
No, they were
for
free.
the car shows.
You're
we only
exactly
hosted one event, and that's because we wanted to do some nicer trophies and actually do more trophies. So we did a $10 entry fee. That one was a big hit. We started doing our pizza eating contests, which you guys have seen on Jeremy's channel.
That was awesome.
People love it. It's honestly funny to watch people do that.
Next year, we're going to have a dunk tank.
We're going to do some fun things. We're going to mix it up a little bit.
Arm wrestling. Maybe some sumo wrestling suits.
Some taco eating contests.
Oh, and foot races. Sam wants to do some foot races.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun next year, man.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Another event that I do want to hit on. I didn't get to do it this year. I was sad. We were too caught up in that CT.
Yeah, I was so busy.
But another couple events that we went to, and this is shout out to Blake, was the Friday nights or Saturday nights that he hosted at Muncie. Blake does a killer job all the way around. I mean, he's awesome. If you guys haven't checked him out, Whole Shot Media, definitely check him out. But he hosts these events on Friday and Saturday nights at Muncie, where it's, $20 to get in the gate, so you can be a spectator, and then $20 to race.
Which is cheap.
So you get $40, and me personally, I do a lot of passes in my car. I think I can get in if I just keep going and I don't let the car
30
race,
or 40
30 or 40 at least. And that's with a lot of people there. It's because their guys are good at the staging lanes. They get them going through. People are going down the track. They know how it works. I mean, the event just works really well, and Blake does a great job.
And dig racing's in the beginning, and then he does roll racing at the end of the night. And
it makes perfect sense.
Now, how do you feel? This is a chance for us. We're going to have Blake on the show again. We will air the first episode of his podcast, but we're going to have him again on here again to do the podcast, maybe even have him as a co-host. How do you feel? That's the one thing that he wants to know from you guys. Maybe you can comment down below. Shoot us an email, whatever you'd like to do. It's OCTANETVINFO@gmail.com. Let us know what you guys like. Do you like the Fridays or do you like the Saturdays? Because I know Fridays, I make it only because with my work, it makes it a little easier on me. I just leave at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, so I make sure I'm up in Muncie early. But there was 2 instances this year and last year where people were getting caught on the interstate for almost 3 or 4 hours trying to get to Muncie, just because of the traffic and wrecks and things like that.
Bad.
Fridays are it's a tough day for everybody. So if you guys would like to see Saturdays, or Fridays, let us know. Comment down below, send us an email. That way we can talk to Blake about that, because he did have a Saturday event, and it was in my opinion, it was a success. I think there's way more people that came to that than there was Friday nights. So we used to do Saturday nights at Lucas and at Muncie, and we used to do Wild Wednesdays at Muncie and at Lucas. So it'd be cool to bring that kind of stuff back. I know Lucas has cut down on it. Lucas used to be every Wednesday, or at least every other Wednesday. Now they're doing it like one Wednesday a month.
It's like a month.
So we'd like to see this stuff come back. If you guys would like to see this stuff come back as well, comment down below, shoot us an email. We will have Blake on here, so you can kind of talk to him as well about everything that you guys like. But for where we live here in Indianapolis, there's not a lot of quarter-mile tracks. So you're basically limited to Muncie and Lucas. That's it. And then there are some other tracks that are 1/8 mile But I'm not an 8th mile guy. I know people might like that kind of stuff, but that's just not me.
And if you're feeling risky, you can go out to War in the Woods.
Yeah, you can go to there, go down to Brown County. I just, insurance company's not going to cover my car if I go out and ram it into a woods. So I would like to try to keep my car in one piece, and it doesn't even like to stay on the track as it is. So I definitely, whatever you guys think, as far as tracks that you guys would recommend. I know one thing I'm going to do, and maybe Sam will go with me. In 2025, I want to go try out all the new tracks that are up by Lafayette, that are up by northern Indiana, northwest Indiana, up by Chicago. I know there's 4 or 5 tracks up there. I've just never been up there, so I'd like to go and try those out, see how they are. I almost went to one this year because they invited us up to come up there, but I just couldn't make it all the way up there. It's when we were having the Dunes Cruise.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we definitely want to go up there, see more tracks, see more people, meet new people, and race with them as well. So there's a lot more stuff that we're going to be doing for 2025, but we got to figure out where we want to put our efforts at. That's the biggest thing.
I agree. I mean, we've both talked about this. We both, obviously, I think Jeremy's going to step away from hosting the events.
100%.
And, I'm going to take on some other events that we kind of have planned out, which we can make a video on that coming up.
Yeah.
Once we get that finalized, but we'll continue to do the podcast, bring on other people for you guys to talk to and listen to. Really ramp up both of our YouTubes,
100%,
and our Instagrams as well. So
in my opinion, this is why I want to do what I want to do. Is I'm stressed out when I have events. It costs me a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of effort that I obviously don't get paid for, and I lose money, and I'm stressed out all the time. I would rather spend my time and efforts with YouTube and doing the things that I want to do, put full force into that, and come to your guys' events and cover them and have a good time and network and meet new people and just try to spread the awareness of good places that are out there. And we also want to start doing things with businesses and small businesses and anything automotive related, even if it isn't quite automotive related as well. And we want to help these companies to kind of branch out, get their name out there. That's my focus for what I want to do with 2025. Instead of me taking all my resources and spending them on these events that people are still complaining about, they're coming there and tearing up property and doing the things that they're doing that we're not asking them to do. We do not want to be associated with that. I want to put my efforts into other people that are having events. Like there was an event by, I'm saying this probably wrong, My Shy Exotics or whatever in Chicago this past weekend, and I didn't get to make it, and it turned out great. And I want to go up to Chicago. I want to go to Columbus, Ohio. I want to go to Louisville. I want to go to these bigger events and see what other people are doing and have fun and cover these events. But when you're trying to put on an event and you're planning 2-3 months in advance, all your time goes into those events. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to kind of just this year let Sam, put my efforts with him and help him with anything he needs and step away from doing the events themselves and just focus on other people's events and trying to help them and promote them and, cover those and do all that kind of stuff.
Now we're going to talk about some of those events that we're going to go to next year that we've released. They've released dates. We kind of just had it in our mind. I think number one, obviously, you hit on a little bit. TX2K is definitely on the table for us to go to, as long as it's weather permitting. I definitely want to experience it. I've never been to TX2K, never been to FL2K, so I definitely want to go out and check it out.
He may never come back if we take him to Texas.
I probably won't.
It is a lot of fun. It is. It's just expensive to go down there and do all that stuff. I mean, hell, the Buc-ee's meets that are free is the best part of the whole event. And I mean, honestly, when you're there and you have 1,000 cars sitting in a Buc-ee's, it's just like insane. And the cops were really cool in Dallas last year. They let us sit there and hang out. She said, as long as you don't do anything wrong. Those cops were cool the first night. Now, the second night, I don't know what people did, but I don't know if it's a different round of cops, but they did not want people there. And I'm sure it was probably because Buc-ee's probably didn't appreciate people sitting there blocking their pumps. So that was another issue as well. But hopefully this year they'll get all the bugs ironed out and all that'll be a good thing. And, after TX2K, there's what's called Orange Beach Invasion, which is in Alabama, I believe. And then also Lone Star Throwdowns in Texas, which are two of the big truck shows that I do plan on going to those if I can afford to make it down there. But I do want to go to more big lifted truck shows because those are some of the things that I do for my personal work and things like that. I want to attend more of those, but I know the big events I did tell him about was they have one called the Power Cruise and some other ones that they're going to be doing up in Minnesota where you can run your car like four lanes wide and you can roll race against this 3.5 mile track that goes around. I'm sure it's not the cheapest thing to do, but I'd like to go do some stuff like that. I'd like to go do more cruises, more rallies. We've looked at a couple of rallies, but when I saw the price, I about had a heart attack. So I can't do that. I can't be away from my kids and be away from work for a week and then on top of that pay thousands of dollars to be in a rally. So that's something I definitely got to think about on that end on price wise.
Another one that came up, and I've heard about it before but never really looked into it. There were some people that were from the state that were here for SET and just over here during the summer. I definitely want to go check out the ice cream cruise.
Oh yes.
I mean, I've seen videos and
I did go to that like 10 years ago. Yep.
And
it's huge.
It looks like a good time, so we definitely want to go check it out.
It is. It's about I think it was about an 8 or 10 hour drive for us to Nebraska, or is it Nebraska or Omaha? I can't remember what state it's in where we went. We drove out there in an RV.
I think it was Nebraska.
It is Nebraska. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was like Omaha, Nebraska, but we took an RV with a turboed Integra on the back of it, and man, it is huge. That's definitely a huge event to go to. I want to go to that as well. I want to go to more private events too, where they're doing, like half mile racing, you know, that kind of racing and stuff as well. I saw a lot of them pop up, but it was like a week before the event started, and I couldn't get enough time off to take off to do it. So hopefully when we know when the events are going to be 100% announced, like we know Beachfront Motorfest from Bling's event, that is going to be going on. We will be doing judging and helping with that on the Friday night pre-meet, and Saturday event is going to be going on. So when we get these dates, we'll be doing a news channel as well where we'll release those dates and we'll show pictures and like what we've done in the past. And that way you guys can, say, hey, I really want to go to that. That looked like a lot of fun, and if we tell you it's going to be a lot of fun, hopefully that'll kind of sway you to go to that. But we also want to tell you if it's not very fun and it was a waste of money, because we feel like we owe that to you guys, and we don't want you to waste your money going to events. 100%. Because, man, if you could learn from our mistakes, it kind of will help you out a lot. I just don't want to see people waste their hard-earned dollars going to an event and spending. I mean, $40 is hard for me to even say to people as a spectator. Like, people were complaining to me about spending $40 to be in a car show to win a massive metal trophy when people are charging $40 for a person to walk in their door. And the door isn't even a door to an indoor venue. It's an outdoor venue. You're walking into a gate, basically, for $40.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to say this, but when we did have the car show, when we charged people, $10.
$10.
We even had someone come up to us and be like, hey, why are we charging? Like, we don't, you guys don't usually do this. And, it's just kind of going back and explaining, like, previously the awards weren't that expensive. Like, the license plates are great quality, but they're not that expensive. And we'll pay out of the pocket. Like, that comes out of our pocket. We don't just have this magic checkbook that pays for everything. But we needed that $10 to cover these nicer trophies so we could give them to you guys. That's the whole
higher quality awards.
And I didn't think there would be a problem with, paying $10 to be in the car show and not having to pay anything as a spectator. And the spectator was the one that said it to me. So definitely.
What would you guys like to see? Would you guys rather spend $10, $20 and have a really nice big metal, really nice award? Or would you rather have a cheaper award but you don't pay any money? So you guys let us know. Comment down below. Let us know what you guys would like to see. I personally would rather spend $20 or $30 on a really good chance of winning a big award versus that. I mean, I'll tell you guys the truth, and I've said this in a lot of videos. Like, I pay $50 to $100 just to park my car at TX2K in a parking lot for a meet, just so I have a good parking spot. So it's up to you guys. Whatever you think. We honor your wishes, because you're the reason why we're having these events. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't even have them for the reason. So we want to hear from you guys what you think and what you guys would like to have, because if you would like to have nicer events, that's one of the things I spent probably $3,000 or $4,000 on, was nice awards for this year. So if you guys don't even care about having the nicer awards, we'll spend less money and make the entry a lot cheaper. That way it's not as expensive for everybody to be in the car show.
Exactly. And I mean, something else that you guys can kind of let us know is while we're building out these videos or releasing this information on the events that are going on, if there's anything that we're missing or events you guys are having that you want us to come to, just shoot us an email, drop it down in the comment section. That way we know where to go to look for these events, whether it's your Instagram, whatever. It helps us, and I feel like we could almost build something out on Instagram that's like, hey, or collab with people that are hosting these events so that 100%. Other people can see it. Obviously, our whole goal is to bring everyone together to these events and just bring the car community together in general, just to enjoy it. So if there's anything you guys have, feel free to let us know.
Definitely let us know. We want to network and we want to help everybody the biggest problem I noticed about 2024, which is not a bad problem to have, is there was a lot of large events at the very end of the year that I never even knew about because they just basically popped up. They were up there for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I didn't get enough time to get off work or to, my kids. And they ended up being massive events. And they're already pre-planning those same events for this year. So I want to get a head start on some of those events, because if we can kind of help promote those guys, I would love for more people to show up and see kind of like what fun everybody's having. Because the other biggest reason why I didn't go to some of these events was because they were first year events. And I was scared if I spent all the money to go to them, I'm like, this could either be really good or really bad. And I just spent a bunch of money to go here. So that's one of the biggest things people were scared about with TX2K was switching from Houston to Dallas. People were really scared of that, and I was too, but in all reality, it had its growing pains and its moving pains, whatever you want to call it, but we learned from it. This year, I'm a lot wiser, so I know what to do. Definitely do not get a hotel downtown. Do not do that. I made that mistake. Told him that. I will make a whole video on my experience from Dallas.
If you go to Kansas, make sure you book your hotel before. We can talk about that story a little bit.
I have never in my life ever went to a city without having a hotel in advance. I messed up, and I literally drove us all the way to Kansas. We drove 10 hours
10
straight,
hours, yes.
And we raced. As soon as we got there at 11 o'clock, we did the meeting, driver's meeting, and then raced. Our destination
was the parking lot.
The spot, yeah. And we raced till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then decided to try to get a hotel.
We'll get that hotel room. No worries. We'll find one.
We called every hotel. They were sold out.
They had a freaking
some kind of convention
in town. And the best thing is I found a hotel on Booking.com.
Oh, Jesus, man, I forgot about that.
Please fix that. Booking.com.
Did you get your money back?
Oh, I got my money back. Okay. Yeah, it was a couple days later, which was nice. But it said they had a room available. It was right down the road from where we were at.
You paid for it.
I paid for it. It came off of my credit card.
We drove all the way there.
Drove there. And I walked up to the front desk, and I showed the guy the reservation, and he was like, we don't have any rooms. And I showed him again, and then I had to call, and it was a big thing. So we ended up getting Whataburger.
That was
calling
great.
Every single hotel within 20 miles, and finally found one. Drove.
It was about 47 miles away. It was an hour away, 55 minutes away.
To a wonderful hotel room.
Yeah. I was scared. It was like a Days Inn, Dollar Inn. I can't remember which one it was, but
probably Dollar Inn.
It smelled like, I don't know the word for it, those things, those little sticks, those incense or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But I have to admit, from the outside, it was scary looking, but it wasn't that bad of a room. It wasn't as bad as we thought.
The bed was really nice.
He fell asleep immediately, and so did I. So, I mean, it definitely was a great place to rest our head for 6 hours and get rebooted to go to the actual event on the track day. So that was nice. But we've learned a lot from all these traveling experiences. So I want to try to help everybody I can to let you guys know what events you should plan on going to. What events are kind of like, I wouldn't probably waste my money. Yeah. We want to help you guys with that. And we will make our whole experience video. That's one thing we're going to work on this year. We're going to do a lot more talking videos, a lot more personal videos of where we're going into the hotels, our whole experience of each one of these trips to you guys, so you guys can see kind of like what we went through, because sometimes it's not about the destination, it's the adventure that you have on the way there that makes it more fun. And that's what Texas every year has always been about: stopping at the gas station, stopping at the hotels, and cruising. Like every TX2K, I find in every state a person tries to race me, and it's a lot of fun.
I mean, just Kansas, we were driving on our way back to Indy, and this dude pulled up in a CTSV.
St. Louis.
This old guy, barely could see him over the windowsill, and he just pulls up downshifts
and ready to race. He's like, I ain't leaving this city.
I ain't messing around.
I wish we could have got one more poll in with him, but it was still fun. That was a good time.
Yeah, I think it's something that we're gonna do. Like he said, is we're almost gonna vlog
the whole experience.
Destination. Yeah, the going to the destination, the whole experience. I almost just want to strap a GoPro to my chest.
I know,
and
me
just
too.
Be like, hey,
I tell people that
here's
all
what
the time.
goes on.
Because people wouldn't even believe half the stuff that happens to us. Like, luckily he had his camera to film the CTSV guy, because no one would ever believe us that happened. Because I mean, it's just so random. But yeah, I mean, there's so many random things that happen that we would, when me and Brian went to TX2K, this lady came out of this chicken place that we were at, and she comes out there, she goes, "Man, these your rods?" And we were like, "Yeah." She's like, "Ooh, I like that black one." And he's like, "Thanks, that's mine." She's like, "Ooh, that green one, damn." Like, we were laughing because we were down, I think we were in Louisiana. I could be wrong on that. But they were just loving the Supra when it was green. And Brian's over there like, man, he's getting all the love and stuff. But Brian's got a CT5E Blackwing. I'm like, man, your car's way better than mine. But nobody cared about the black car. They just cared about the bright green car that drove down the road. So it's just crazy what a color will do for a vehicle to kind of make it stick out and stuff like 100%. That. But that was a lot of fun. So we want to make more videos like this, kind of going over what events we've been to, and we'll make some where we'll actually show you footage of all the events that we went to. And he's going to be doing more talking videos, and so am I. That's one thing that I've not done a lot of, only because we don't have a full-time videographer. We don't have somebody standing there holding a camera for us. But now that we will be going to these events, we can help each other to be able to film each other and make things a lot easier for both of us. So stay tuned for more of that. We're going to definitely be doing longer videos of our full-length trips and things like that, and we'll break them up, and we'll probably do shorts. So we'll do shorts on our Instagrams, previews, things like that as well.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, guys.
See you next time.
Thank you.